All right, so this is what showed up yesterday. 2 full dump truck loads. And if you've ever filled a raised bed before, you already know this is where things can get expensive fast. So how you use this matters a lot, because most people either go out and buy a bunch of bags and just dump them in, or they try to find the perfect mix and overcomplicate the whole thing. And I've done both. And honestly, both of these can be a mistake. So before I fill all the new raised beds in my vegetable garden, I want to walk you through exactly how I'm going to do it, and more importantly, why. So what I have here is pretty simple. The darker pile on this side is mushroom compost, and this pile is a raised bed mix. It's a blend of composts, washed sand, coco coir, pumice, gypsum. It's basically designed to drain well, hold moisture, and give roots a really good environment. Now here's the key. I am not treating these as the same thing. And this is where I see a lot of people make mistakes. They take something like, this raised bed mix, and they plan to fill an entire bed with it. And yes, it would work, but it's also one of the fastest ways to spend way more money than you need to. So instead of thinking, what soil should I buy? You want to think, where does each type of product belong? Because not all 17 inches of a 17-inch raised bed needs to be the same. And once you understand that, you can stop wasting your money and get a better harvest at the same time. All right, so back down here in the actual vegetable garden, or future vegetable garden, you can see it's kind of under construction right now. And these beds are 17-inch tall beds. And so what I'm planning to do is fill the bottom 7 inches with the mushroom compost. Now this is a great material for that part of the bed. It's rich in organic matter, it holds moisture well, so it will catch the extra moisture that thinks about running out the bottom and hold on to it to help train the roots to grow down deep in the bed instead of staying at the top. That makes plants much more resilient to high heat and low water issues. And over time, it's going to continue breaking down and improving the soil throughout the bed and also the native soil underneath the bed. But here's the important part. This is not where most of your plant roots are going to start. Early on, your plants are going to be living in that top layer. That's where seeds germinate, that's where transplants establish, that's where early root growth happens. So the bottom section, the bottom 7 inches, let's say, is really doing more of the long-term work. It's building biology, it's holding moisture deeper in the bed, and it's creating something that roots can grow into over time. And because of that, this is the perfect place to use something cheaper like mushroom compost. And it's a lot more cost efficient than filling the whole bed with the premium mix. Now, some people would plan to take this bottom section and fill it with branches and sticks and other coarse and probably free organic matter. And this system is called Hugelkultur. And on paper, it sounds like a really great idea. You're using free material, it breaks down over time, and it's supposed to hold moisture like a sponge. And I've actually tried it. I filled a really tall bed this way before, and here's what I found. It can work, but it has to be done almost perfectly. You need everything packed tight, you need the right balance of materials, and you need enough soil worked in between everything. Because if you don't, you end up with big air pockets, and so you get uneven settling, you get nitrogen being stolen from the soil, and roots that just don't establish the way you want them to. And that's exactly what I ran into. And that's really the issue for me, not that it can't work, but that it's hard to get it just right. So for me, I'd rather do something simpler and more predictable. That's why I plan to use the mushroom compost in the lower section instead. It still gives me organic matter. It still improves the soil over time, but it's not going to give me the problems the way Hugelkultur can. And it's a lot easier to work with. Then for the top 10 inches of the bed, I'm going to be using the raised bed mix. And this is the most important part of the whole setup, because this is where your plants are going to live right away. And so this is where they either get off to a strong start or they struggle. So this layer needs to be loose, it needs to be well draining, but still able to hold moisture. And that's exactly what this mix is designed to do. Now, could I use this for the entire 17 inches? Yeah, I could. But again, I'd be paying for that premium structure all the way down when plants don't even need it yet. So by putting it where it actually matters, I get the benefit without wasting money. Now, the reason this works so well is because of the height of these raised beds. Like I said, I'm setting these all up. They're 17 inches. And by the way, to follow the whole process of this build and a lot of other things we're doing around here, check out our second channel, The Gardens at Sky Ridge. Over there, I take what I show here as a tutorial and give you the whole experience. Plus, you get to follow along as we build out our 4 themed garden lands. So I'll leave a link to that down below. All right, back to the beds. Depth changes everything. If these were 6-inch tall raised beds, this approach wouldn't work the same way. Because in a shallow bed, the entire thing is basically the immediate root zone. But once you get into deeper beds like this, you have the opportunity to build in layers. And that's where you can really start to be more efficient and more strategic. And one more thing to think about. What's underneath your bed matters. If you've got good native soil down there, then roots are eventually going to find their way into it. If it's compacted or if it's poor soil, then the raised beds matter even more. But either way, this layered approach still works. And eventually, the good compost and soil mix in the raised bed will start to improve the native soil underneath. Now, just to put this in perspective by going over cost. Now, don't let the raw numbers freak you out. I'm filling 11 huge beds. I mean, look at these over here. They're 15 feet long each. So these are big, and you probably aren't doing on this scale. So that mushroom compost, that was about $75. The raised bed mix was about $800. I got the same amount of each, about 12 cubic yards, but they're a very different cost. Now here's where this really gets interesting. If I bought this same amount in bags at the garden center, 2 cubic feet at a time, you're looking at right around 170 bags, and at about 10 bucks each, that's roughly $1,700. So bulk, $800, bags, about $1,700. And this is probably quite a bit better than the bagged stuff. And on the flip side, if I tried to do this whole thing with just the raised bed mix and no mushroom compost, that would add another $400 to the price. So still cheaper than the bagged, but a lot more. Because your plants don't need the same material all the way down. So by splitting it up and putting each one where it actually does the job, you get the benefit of both without driving the cost through the roof. And once you start multiplying that across multiple beds, that difference adds up fast. So before you fill your raised beds this season, don't overthink it, but don't just dump soil in either. Think about where your plants actually grow and how deep your beds are, and build your soil around that. Now, before you buy any compost, click this video right here to know about the dangers lurking in some composts that can poison your garden for 3 years or more. You need to know this. I'll see you guys next time.